Efakofo gumbebre. But Chief of Staff say why FAO after 7 December biano or you revoke you or appointment and no BBR until further notice. Yeshani any home come na yeba besa here the Deputy Ministerial Vet na Ekoso. Then there will be a critical look at Asitufi North Constituency, especially Newmont, a honomo, Nipakunkuma started Ekoso honomo, Enrechi, ya stable one gentleman, he's been stabbed there. Because of mining related issues, I cost war horrible. You see what was a cookum conformable or was no similar thing AC ever have for Newmont. And unfortunately, said the member of parliament, or had most ebedin combo. But quickly, my starting free Ivan Hormona, yes, started ending combo. And Ivan, as usual of us, there is this man, he's helped so much, so well. When it comes to employment opportunities, I mean, no Oyejuma why he's been there for quite some time now. As you see, I mean, say because of our buying society, there's a position do a free honor there. I don't know. These are people I feel strongly said they can also be fit enough to be in position as well. No more to me about the discourse of our country when it comes to job creation and its related activities. Yenim Solomon Afutu Kwete. Abrado Hono no waye Juma chairman asefoni na business administration, human resource management. He's been a project manager for different companies as well. Currently, one of the finest guys when it comes to NDC mu near there, but as it stands now, some of them are still marking time in their fates. But you hear the employment opportunities near there.
Yeah, many kind. I'm in charge now. I'm in charge for now. After elections, new government in play or try to mobilize resources, both human and whatever, be able to lay hands on just to ensure the speedy up development, because that is what exactly Ghanaians are looking for. So if you look at the human resource available to government now, you need to make deliberate efforts.
Yes. Now
we mop up all the brains that are required to fix the country now. Person build because we say we are building.
By the way, fashion fee per yes.
Okay.
Yes, I mean okay.
Yeah, say we are building the Ghana we want.
Yeah, sure.
They are forgetting to add. They say we must build a Ghana of our own design and our own, your friend saying creation. Sebaya ebetimi affect the space. Ne de yepe ne yetimi akọ. So in that particular regard, I think the president will have to look into the your friend say fold, and individuals with the requisite whatever that is needed to help us ebetimi they build your mind. We need to tap in because nipa ne yade chichiro mind.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think as a president, every single brain be on mind munu biya or every right to tap into just to ensure the vision whatever that you have will be realized. Yeah, I think recruitment one of the major issue a topic for discussion, especially after this 6 December 7 December recruitment brouhaha. I hated the street. A dominated discussion across various portals and various platforms. Sometimes, when you watch some of these things, you begin to ask yourself, there are two ways to this side. Some people on the other side of the political divide.
Yeah.
MPP for a binom taking to social media, embarking on a massive moral crusade. Because Ghana for say yes, that argument is fair. Because you see, yet your mind more do be a penny so many jumaye.
Sure.
Na yet me aboama or mine no atumpon akwanenim. Enti say obi ewoda nimdiana obi anya kwanya ko wura ban adwuma na oye adwuma. It is only fair and right said that person no betimi akoso na waye na adwuma. But the question we are asking say unia, so we have quite recently the course in 2016. In 2017, after a buying change year, or full tape is still available. Or justify why necessary then for the government of the day to lay off individuals a buying a form with your machine within a specified period.
Yeah.
that particular incident na see no na I was suspecting say as a reasonable government then a certain initiative will be adopted to ensure say this transition act no be amended no making sure say we build a certain legal regulation be able to me I regulated that particular thing say maybe a koto aba from 7 to this particular period to time of transition because no recruitment and because a freeze period then you know say this particular thing is regulated by law but who buy ya be saki amount for the coin who exit the same thing now or criticize ya we amount for the free or no you did the same thing.
Yeah, sure.
It did a question they said what is your moral locus this time round to be running around the media and backing out your friend saying media campaign say ya saki amount for ya saki amount for and I think going forward, the reason why our mind were young tumpon is a JB.
I see.
This particular idea we see, we may wake up the next 8 years and we will come back to the same discussion here.
Sure.
So what I'm employing government to do is we need to look at the Transition Act. Now you're making sure that this freeze period is embedded. Say we are on the 7th to the time of transition at that period, even though the person in charge is still the president there, but because there is transition going on, because you see, the constitutional framers, it created that window, assuming say every president will be reasonable and will be sensible enough that that period, you will not be packing people. But as black people, whenever we get power, we abuse and do certain things. So within that period, Obeya making sure that the next chapter will be very horrible for you. We saw it when President Kufuor was exiting power.
Yes, sure.
Now, single spine salary structure. During his time, he could have implemented it.
Yeah.
But then it was rolled out. Thinking that the new government will come and make sure that payment. We saw the challenges the new government, Mel's government went through in the implementation of that particular thing.
Yes.
Because he's not looking at whether you have money or not. You cannot, your friend saying, won't me and go back. Because the very moment you go back, the policy is to benefit workers. You become an enemy. Yeah. So I say, you set a trap and and that has been the kind of way so I'm expecting that this time round, whether justifiable or unjustifiable, this particular dismissal, because the government of the day will also have reasons and justification as to why he need to do these things. But I am looking at the solution aspect, and the aspect is quite simple. Let us look at the Transition Act and make sure that this freeze period, is embedded in the law. From that period to time of transition, transition, so one fa nothing will happen. It's a period of 1 month, and I think that is something that we need to do. Young come back the next day, and they will be doing the same thing. That is the name a taking media discussion that we move on. JB, me no better have a car about this. Ghana form Wabonting citizenship, allegiance, or co-parliament. Your friend is saying. Tam hefana or obi eko parliament and journey yabra your friends papaya or we central the bias or double identity on friend say
Jachi question
case ba okroma say the argument was that sabra ye onya ne license say ene onya Canada ni biem no na your friend is saying was started process or the parliament as we speak maybe say obi co parliament where exactly that the process in a beginning nobody can tell. Whether I said a brand new form, they come easy. Yatu abawie, and I swear in. So there are these gray areas. A banner ye actually, in yakota, in when you do some of these things, you see these ambiguities, it give you judges that discretionary powers to decide whichever way, because they said the law is at the bosom of the judge. So because there are a lot of ambiguity on our clauses, and judges that discretionary powers to decide, baby, or this you can't do anything about it. And unfortunately, we live in an era where it has proven sufficiently that some of the judges are so corrupt like hell. And can you rely on the discretion of such people? And that is a problem. So I think most of the problems now, and that there is a need for us to look holistically into some of these things. Now you're making sure rebuild it for the future, and some of these things in our honor, we will not come back the same day and be discussing the same thing. And I'm happy that decision by President Mahama said sa 6 match mark pass back and forth no nyansa bia nim jebi over the years growing up over her soldier for ntade police for ntade tuntum awia we ne namu koba. There is nothing sensible about that particular thing. Obedati weni no na amount of money I see ya wasty.
That was 6 match.
6 match celebration. We yam so now me no time because I say, are we really independent as a country? Kwame Nkrumah's statement said the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. You know, menewo through this bad governance I also in the last 60 years, we have demonstrated clearly say we are incapable because of greed and indiscipline. So the Independence Days, you know, should be a rude awakening for menewo. Na yentenase, na ye making sure that we do sober reflection on our failure and the need to rebuild this country. See, I'm not say the sense of nationalism, patriotism, are gone.
It does not work.
Partisan activism and taking the center stage. It will be here. You are taking decision. Oh, Ghana no maba means me farmet cat no mako. There is that sense of nationalism in here. So I am suggesting say the Independence Day should be a national flag waving day. Let every single Ghanaian be a Ghana flag. Yes.
More cars,
cars, so America, most of the buildings, Obi an American flag.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yes, so it will be a critical awakening to you. Say this is your country, you own allegiance to your country.
Yeah, sure.
Let us do things to ensure. Say, I don't know, there might a certain symbolic relevance be done. Regional level, no, or more the budget amount of money or must spend it on 6 match. Now we are free Ghana at 50. You have 1,000 time. The amount of millions are echo. Yes. Yabaya sa celebration we are no. Na still enkrati biase. Yabaya sa nema we are no. Na enipa na emwa enu minsuo ekwan enye. So what is the essence of it? So I think that has come for us to prove sufficient to say yes enipa. We are reasonable. Nema bia yabaya bia na must seek to benefit the interest and the welfare of the people of this country. Na you making sure say sa na ye no. Kind of attitude, no, and so I am saying, say, it's a right call. The president has cancel most of these things, but going forward, you know, we need to ensure so on that day, every single Ghanaian will have access to a Ghanaian flag. Wave it, put it on your car, build them, baby, will be na any reminder. Now you say we are losing our very essence as a Ghanaians, the sense of nationalism, patriotism. No, we need to awaken that particular spirit in the average Ghanaian. To a certain extent, I believe there be a certain interest. Now, governance in a package of some partisan way. You roll out things, benefit you for that kind of way. No, I know the majority of the people who queue to vote for government, you know, don't end up to be beneficiaries. But there are a lot of social programs that are available. The last time I was telling you about rent. See, a solve rent issue okroma. Now you issue executive fiat. We say no landlord should take more than 6 months. Okroma. Do you know the problems it will solve in this country? There are laws, but who is implementing? These are some of the near man get here. Who am bedrin say, but anything. When you do some of these things, you solve a lot of problems. Obi your national service. JB, our cry. National service, how many years?
1 year.
1 year. Or behind our cry, a city so 2 years advance. Now 1 year, I can never tell man and papa never tell them. I'm asking.
Oh, you have a best to our cry.
Now, I don't just best to our cry.
Well,
you see, there should be a proper way to go about some of these things just to ensure, say, we create comfort for ourselves because the whole essence of governance is to create comfort, solve problems, so that Nipa will live freely. It's not an avenue to talk as I can say the Maya when we live your friends that kind of life. Kind of right in class seminar, we are not a crowd or come Mayo Clinic. I could see care in the US. Obi ote konongo oyarea or maybe a crowd to go crowing to be in court. Maybe a crowd passport crow nibi, but that person is a Ghanaian. He's supposed to benefit. I think we need to just look at things in the way a bit me boy.
Matty, but I say, Ivan. But call Godwin, Mama Hodom now. Godwin, quick one on this issue.
Mamin Chow, Mamin co-panelist. Mamin Chia Ghana for many 80 Onua TV. Jebi, you see. So same way, I thought, say, it has come to a rest because you didn't come on for the past, I think 2 weeks and not 3 weeks. I can tell you on authority that BBB knew a better son. Looking at the facts, almost your own court, Honorable Vincent Asifua and Nana B, the failed national organizer of MPP. So I'm mobilize those affected people. No more the one court. I can tell you without any shred of doubt. Say, at the Papa Bia and Fimumba. So let me tell you one thing. You see, the person made it two in the right perspective. JB, say your party Bia our moral right. So be question in Niema Ekoswa and yet the MPP. And any MPP ni Bia why you not doing say or question the Akosono or a hypocrite.
That I agree with you.
Or a hypocrite, I'm telling you this.
2017, with a quick one, 2017, Kwaku Ajimamenu revoke
about 8,600 and something. Yeah, more that
health workers or more Ghana say. And nobody spoke about it.
That is it.
So
said the American MPP ni bia or person question the action bia a hypocrite. And another thing is here bear in mind is a JB. Ghana ni bi enye Ghana ni bi nchen obi. Article 17 of the Constitution places us equally. Equally. Mamema of brief history. Party are almost share revocation of appointment as say in Ghana. As shall say with the UP tradition. In the year 1969, Apollo 568 say okaya.
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Buzia obedi ade wo Ghana ha. Purported say nkrofo bi wo Ghana ha. Omo ye eduma, omo ye anti ne party. And you ye Ghana public and civil servant bako 568 AD with the mind say no they are in cahoot with the previous administration and they did the term Apollo 568 eba Ghana. That same UP tradition and aba yende MPP.
I see.
After Buzia, Ghana yen experiencing any mass sacking of recruit people in this country.
Yes, sir.
Yes, may I admit to say there have been pockets of sacking in all other government. But I'm being specific, say, apart from the C Buzia, na ye mass no. Ne being see what Ghana had that until the same MPP led by Nana Danko Akufo-Addo be there in the year 2017.
I see.
Osaki nipa more than 13,000. Also purported say omo ye NDC for ayafa won. Nipa more than 13,000. Doctors were affected, nurses were affected, teachers were affected. It is so ye pobia over the moral right to question the equation and your MPP. And your MPP. Besides, JB, Emra MPP lose election. Now ye war transition period. On the 13th of December 2024, the NDC side of the transition team, yen spokesperson then, Honorable Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, issue an official statement say, it has come to the party's attention, say MPP 4 fan crofo, even though Omo lose election. Into Omunya careful. I'm to the extent say Omuya even payment. Huge sums of payment. So you sounded warning to them, say, ye any problem, and I handle very carefully. Ye any problem, say Mobe fan crofo. And any problem, say Mobe Tia Bibia. But Emrina ye won't me find a transition. Ye said the Niema course for the past 4 years. Into document, ye gusu him. Into Samusha say there is the need, say you tia kebi. Na ye funny pebi we jumemwa. Yebi. Reasonably, good governance requires say ubebo abayin fufuro na obano amane. Na ye nina ya bobo na ye jidi say there is the need to pay, there is the need to recruit her. The NDC side was ready to give way. But sir, wise advice way fell on deaf ears. Emma on the 17th of December 2024 also issue a second statement. And one more paragraph 2 or 3 of that statement. Ostati clearly said the government disregarded that advice. It is a bar. Obibia yafandi biano yebeyin. Until that warning was even sound before John Mahama was handed over this country. What am I gonna say?
Interesting.
But you see,
making that argument. Are they not Ghanaians?
Don't worry, they are Ghanaians. When I end, you understand me.
Okay.
They are critical of this. They say, Sanka Omu go through Jerry, the right recruitment process in accordance with law. Any problem? Jerry, what you have? Send the way Jumera. Eddie, an employee, Ebaha and there. Ubetimi die a fan where Jumim, and
yeah, sure.
because more we Juma in Amunimu.
Yeah.
So, and yes, I boy and ceremony as you few. They are Ghanaians in the various institutions who have been able to tell us, say, Nipa Semesi, and running Dre Tiana, or say Jumase. Now, so who can the appointment letter more? Ya back date.
Your fan be about 2 months.
About 2 months, but in real term, no. Your fan after 7th December. And JB, Ghana, your merchant say, over far obi we do memoir. Especially government sector. First, ubaya internal advert. I should say position na a vacant no. Obi wo mu dada. Our qualification na. So when na obi a na why external advert. JB, most of this recruitment advertisement was not done. But the brain answer you found at management level. Until the procedure and kind chief of staff on Krata also is against good governance. And there is no good governance that requires on your advert. 2, JB.
Yes, sir.
Aside say on your advert no. The brain po antro application letter.
Oh, sir.
A true protocol. Many didn't write application. 3, aside 2 when JB, the brain so anchor interview.
Wow.
Anchor interview. Share JB. MPP for so only more very well. I will say, I dear we can in ano. If indeed, JB, amuye advertisement, and profit application, amu converting, even if anchor. My financial clearance, and I say in the last budget or mid-year budget review, omo capture in that budget say this institution, you better nipa asemesi, and by this time MPP would have brought documents because they just left power, and about 90% of document omu jama yeno omu copies.
Interesting.
So the asanya yana say. Aside say omanya advert, a be entry application, omanko interview. Now send a backdate omo appointment letter no.
As a chrono.
JB.
But whoever did
Oman capture even in the budget. Let me tell you, in the year 2021, the then finance minister, Akachira and say you were under an IMF program. And part of the requirement in say there is a freeze on employment. For 2022, I think 2023.
Yeah.
I think one of if my memory set me right. And JB before MPP Befia being one so there was no day we were told say IMF lifted the ban on recruitment. Into when to funny part January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, because you were under IMF. When did IMF lift that ban? India just after 7 December, you started recruiting. David, the immediate make a question say. So, what question you have to be, but the make a question say. The year can say, NDC promises say a bar. Our manifesto was geared towards creating jobs. And then Yamia Dum, Passport Office announced the 24-hour economy. Andra Miun say, Ghana Publishing Company. And so announced a possible 24-hour economy. You're setting a committee to look at how the respective institutions will make running 24-hour economy can start running. JB, you better Ghana mebunu we jumem. Not the unemployment rate are now a jama one at single decade. In the year 2016 one omuja 14.7 MI, it will come down.
All right.
Until the year can say Matisse Felix Ofosukwachi, honorable in charge of communication at the office of the presidency, the deputy Shamima Muslim.
Okay.
They have all said, say, yebema an opportunity. Yakase Kofianu just a young foul. But because MPP are buying a boom rasuna or more for good governance, so and foul. You go and be in the house. Say all the institution human resource audit. No a na ye kind budget wie. Na ye hu sika ye wo sika parliament be approve. Because it is based on the budget now wait me there afan crofo. Say you read those procedure that respective institution in no chief of staff be man an opportunity no more be for vacancies. So also say oh you qualified
no,
the NDC government will take you through the right process and employ you. In the MPP phone come and because what is good for the goose is good for the gander. MPP 4 yet better human beings than NDC 4. 2017, NIPA over 13,000 were sacked. None of them complained, so they should be quiet.
Interesting. The Godwin Mahama, or NDC communication team member. Now, my member, the member of parliament for Esutufi North, that is Ebenezer Kweku Ado. But before then, we are told to say the former Minister for Roads and Highways, Joe Gatti, has been summoned by the National Intelligence Bureau for questioning on the Ghana SkyTrain project. He would be interrogated as part of the ongoing investigation by the NIB into the feasibility and financial dealings of the Urban Railway Initiative. Just about 30 minutes ago. Inti say NIB, that is the National Security for I invited Era Joe Gatti Sombra. Omujina say ha osimbra form enra so yejanenti said the accountant award the National Service Authority also your friend for interrogation by the NIB also sa your friend has started investigating until that is just by the way of news airba honorable mamu akwa bi na ye hwe the issue of employment mo ban ba mo started pamon for
Yebi medasi bebre ma menchia ahwefo nyina na ene ye mrahye bedwafo a omampanyi Mahama abo omudin se omomameye deputy ministerial positions no omomame occupy no nse vetting started nra ene mu ebi mo so kwa ye ma omunyina atiri nkwa enim se ombebo adwuma eno nti even before the vetting it starts at 10 before the vetting starts me mama congratulations na efa public sector employment issues are ekoso nyina no me free say emabuna e Ghana should cast their mind back na omo hu say aban bia ba be dia konwa wodi o mabro pa media back and forth we say no me free say menko ho because ye nyina ye Ghana for said the minuanu mienu adika ya kan ba ye Ghana for ni nyina no Ghana ye emra na adibu oman no enti se oye obi a odi mra so na oye Ghana ni say uphold constitution na me free say the akoso yi no ye mfanto nsane ani na ye hwe kwan a ochena bi ebi nsibiem meka ne sa no me free say NDC led by Professor J.E. Mills and John Mahama abra ye fa akonya na ebetena akonya so in 2009 Ghana for witness say amamu a na yenim se ekoye nim na sesa sa amamu na no ebeto aso se obekai se Professor J.E. Mills nyamefa ne kransie abra obey omampanyi no even with DCs oma MPP for DC and oma appoint you
yes I'm extend your
for almost 6 months
yes that's true
or ye nesa to make sure say aban besesa na aban awa babe yi adwumayefo adi basabasa no saa de ni nyina no eto betwa. Fast forward in 2017 NPP led by Akufo-Addo ene Bawumia omo ba ya na omo hyase esake edipadodo aya kan say almost 13,000 public sector workers omo esake omo nyina. In August 2017 osafomafo etimi kan say public sector no kra no emu ayema enti there will be a need to even lay off workers. Emu hwa na ne mamienu
akonya deputy director of
Senate.
Yeah.
Enti ede na ama we nyina bande. On say Osha the Presidential Transition Act no. Enya kwa say act no stipulate say 24 hours after declaration of presidential results no. There should be a presidential transition team.
Yeah, sure.
Section of the act no so echere kwan ya meeting kra no emfaso ema 48 hours. That I said 24 hours no after declaration of presidential results no. The president elect and the president na woteso no. Se enye aban na woteso na yasa toama na woto so a it means there is going to be a president elect of another party and the sitting president of the incumbent party. And amrano actually say 24 hours pepe say you declare presidential results ni we are there ya to abama no enti abejafo there wote akunya so no so enti abejafo na within 48 hours omuhia anye meeting and the Ghana youth should ask say 48 hours no omo first meeting no ede nhihye ya na say ede asem na course during the meeting eno ana philosopher sukwache ena majority leader Mama Yariga ejina the floor of parliament ama Ghana for who say abra transition team no hia ya no omu nyina gitu mu say they should hold on with all recruitment.
Oh, okay.
So a record. Parliament is a house of record. Yeah. It's a majority leader. Ejina parliament. Ama Ghana for who say omu hia sa meeting no. And somewhere course ubini. You say halt with any form of recruitment. But the then government no insist say omunya handi over ne de Ghana 2 million kuta omo ho kan say omo ye de omo pay.
Oh really?
Meaning they had set aside some part of the provisions in the Presidential Transition Act. Because the Presidential Transition Act no Akacho say within 24 hours they should form a team. Within 48 hours, team ninshia. Whatever transpired in the meeting of the team no becomes part of the provisions of the Constitution indirectly. Because Emran actually musebu ninshia. Until the mobile can be ano, Emrano yeden support it.
I see.
Now say team no, the president-elect team no. Ama Maakye say enyuma fa bi ekoswa mon halt until say handing over ebekoso. But you insist say we na oti aban mu nti the open na obeya. Me feel say Ghanaian youth should know say the MPP government a disappointment. A disappointment because one, who presented a budget in parliament before elections, one make any provision say there is going to be a recruitment entity while located sikase as ankrofo no say ofa omo a ye de betua omoka. Sisi ayeka say NDC in fa budget mai. It means say MPP budget our year no last year no enum an ye wa ye bu man no.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you didn't make provision for the payment of salaries for public sector workers who intend this obeden obefa omo. Enti adenti na ye to aba na hu se wo luso no. Ade a untwa ho sika nto ho. Okoka kire obi se wo mra meye adwuma. Where are those people going to be paid from?
I see.
Enti Ghanaian youth the American say omonka omakoma to omyam NDC we are doing the right thing and we are promising them say enye so obi nya adwuma anye nemum awase ya den hihye yegu akramu a adwuma na wo be ye no se wo be ye adwuma wo anidaso se wo be ye adwuma na ye tua woka because see say ye ka se wo mu nyina na omo eba mu after December 7 for no nkoso nya adwuma na aban ne ka say okay December January February March yentua woka afi na NDC be budget afam ho na ya start atua moka onim de be si organa ha be ka say adwuma efo ya adwuma 3 months 3 months yentua moka na no so abena ne another issue enti pam no twa no NDC aban no say munyina no monka makomanto ye wo de monkotena fie kakra ye ba be ye budget ye be ye nhyehyɛ ya ye de be fa adwumayefo nyina enti wo a wo ye Ghana ni bi a wo qualification say nursing training na wawi o say teacher training na wawi o say school bia na wawi a o qualify say wo ye adwuma public sector no John Mahama aban ne say kan wakomato yem kotena fie kakra after budget which is March ya no nhyehyɛ ya ba munyina no ye be san aden afamu adwuma.
Let me also say this say Monya kwenya modeda nursing and teacher nursing schools ahodo ene mo amoda mo in charge of postings please munya nkofo sika gigye mo in charge of postings say you fa we di na ko ha no mo betumi aye but not necessarily so be Jennifer chronic scars na why am no munya dwiri mu die ne keta hyehye no because it's not helping the discourse of our country. But honorable I must also start every hand must say that me fa won call the other side ma Ivan to Sumbrem na Miriam Mahama Sumbrem. Now so Tufi North your constituency. We are told to say enrich ya Costa bi obi wo ho no because of galamsey and mining related issues. Tell us more.
JB, in fact as Tufi North it's becoming one too many.
Is it becoming a notorious community?
No, not necessarily say a notorious community, but the meet me can say nema question in terms of security no. I'm saying Newmont your constituency and I'm a constituency.
Okay.
O two former good year. Na Osha says so two former good year and that was 2006 2nd June and poor on the first gold. Nemo moba watch anyame aboa mo anyamfa so ene osan bie another site or a free spy yam for na susan so osan kwa achim akonya mfa so ama em say ehodwumadi no de diversity cha abam waton but Kenya say de na ekoso na Newmont dwumadi a wodi no odi de boa in terms of taxes rates ne de keka ho bia no ade a oye de boa wasan so I form a foundation through that foundation no community no so nya some percentage ya de yempuntu djuma but omudjuma de na omudi no baby a eyama Newmont din asay anase yebo na yebo Newmont di bata ho a emmoa wo mo the way the security detailed over there it treated mamufo
how
JB in November 2022, I think 14th November 2022, yes. Newmont security detail, men can say police for or more elbow Newmont assassin home buying. They chased some youth into the community. Senka fan say or more ebe far dear cry na say illegal mining be no more your concession poa. Or more or more journey.
Yeah.
They chased them into the community. Opened fire at them.
I see.
Killed one in the process.
Hey.
Yes. Killed one in the process, injuring the others.
Wow.
2022. 6 of August, yeah, I think 25th August, 2024. Security detail, omuchesi youth no, Newmont forward dam. I say, "Omba you na dada hono mono." A divert yam nsuo na koboa no baby a eye dam omode eye wo mudwumadi a youth no ekoto dam no obi anto mo hwe ekoto dam no be do chesi omo baako omo chesi no ebi to dam no ema omo wuye no just this January ena mene dissect no ye meeting a you na mo body no since August na body no that switch free ma even family no omo nyam Kusi.
Wow.
Afei ana bushafo na nya body no a omo ayeden omo Kusi 8th January, immediately after swearing in of NDC government, 8th January, 3 young men. And I think I sent the video to you.
Terrible videos. Very dangerous videos.
Video now. There's all indications say any number concession they were unarmed. And but if you look at the video, it presupposes
shoot from the back.
The back. And it is a police for no and even decided to pull their shirt down before firing at them. You have the video. 5 different gunshots. Nakoma, Neyam, Nechi, Nesirim, Nipabako. The private security detail permanent information police commander no because Metia Simbia me frɛ enya source on an minya update and sana makamasem. This is a bigger platform.
Yeah, sure.
The district police commander for Asutifi North, DSP Ankan, Paul Ankan.
Okay.
Or catch them say, sa incident na asi enrechi no.
The Stabio
Bino. The private security detail I won month I from Protea Queen.
Okay.
For no be and any boys ni be. Allegedly say boys no almost almost battery fuel. Every dump trucks ni be. But minim the kind of training security for no demo. And you know the West and I say when I met the district security council, they briefed me on the man and say, "Sir, police for omo Newmont concession or mobile concession no buy no." And you local policemen, they were directly deployed from headquarters. And because they were deployed from headquarters, they don't report to the district police commander. Can you imagine? Say Oba will be doing this thing. Ababeye Juma. So I don't know how Dampare is managing or using the security to do certain things. Because me na me waha as a police commander. The minimum crisis is soldier ni kra no oba holidays I me police station by me crew ntotroso. Me ni aba akoye soldier ni. So oba fia or the ho kwachire police for say waba.
Yeah, sure.
Ebi ana bibi ko so mbi hia ne moa na say na omonso ahu. So how come say a whole Newmont mining company na you deploy police every Accra say omomra mebo Newmont ho ban. Na the police command na ewo district no enyawe omo report to enti the akoso no he say makuma nine cases na maboso.
Oh, you're a member of parliament. Have you made this statement on the floor of parliament to indicate to draw the attention of the interior minister or minister responsible for Sanemawi?
JB Enra me J briefing from the district police commander and we no me Sunday me deputy majority chief whip I send no information I may say ne ye be two and amona parliament speaker ama me kwan ama make that statement on the floor. In fact, I've prepared the statement and forwarded it to my second deputy whip. Mr. Parliament the leadership no bibia no you confer with the leadership for same to be allowed. Said the obit my enti ye two one amon but you for no ye mu bi ne omo akasa ma ene such situations no won't say basa ABSC and omotimi anya abotra because they believe in their leadership. And into ya broso mekasa abroso you cannot value the life and I say you cannot value you cannot value gold or fuel more than human life. And Newmont almost safety the almost for Niagara. In fact, say who trika na say or create chomwa.
Yes.
I used to ujina mo woni choma what the car no. So all the fans so na Newmont
but nipa do mutumi
mpanyimfo show say what the car kra abo a obetimi akofi. Enti ade nti na nipa nkwa. Ye ka say ye say or battery fuel and I say wabaya concession enti no nipa 3 police for abo mutu ene ye ntehwe ye hu investigation baby akwa Kusi.
Anyway, you better ask what Adam say. Godwin, that's the issue.
Mami, I'm picking it from this angle. For me, sometimes the statement on the floor of parliament, you are one too many. I say, I know I bear the order of the day. asembisi or constituency, the best you can do is say, speaker Bema Wakwenya na wakasa na ya capture in the Hansard, and your constituent seeing you on the floor of parliament and speaking. I said, yeah, boy, it is not to say it is not good, but the American say there are times without number and Crawford making such statements and some relative statements on bad incidents constituency on the floor of parliament and Kusi. It was only left in the Hansard. Now must refer. I said it on the floor and Hansard captured it. It is not enough. That is the first thing. So I think if Ube Timia Yewo Parliament must be ready, say, after MPBR and making such critical issues on the floor of Parliament. Umbe taking the bull by the horn. Na solution and nipa require no. Umbe timi abo aban nija. Because checks and balances. No more aban nija. Na aban timi aye de say obeye. And it is like the Parliament of Ghana is more of theory than practicals. I think we must change in that. Now, JB, on the substance of the matter.
Yeah.
Me person me go into details because me feel more of the things need a report and at their MP no aka
But sometimes the MP is an authority.
No, I agree. The me person me can say I think we need more of common sense than knowledge in this regard. You hear more common sense if you answer than this. Semitier MP nu from Ejuma no any community no. You do get me?
Yes.
Yes sir. As a one obi ewo entoka na motam ho. Ade en wo se ede ebufu ba krampo no, ede ebufu ba. So what I think is that JB here a serious dialogue between the community and the in terms of ahemfo, assemblymen, opinion leaders, and youth leaders. Leadership of institution, Newmont.
Yeah, Newmont.
And government
ede ama woman Ghana yɛmfa yɛni
Oman FM. Yeah, man. We are hell of instrumentals. Special. Abiza band. Sauti. Say out there. Oman FM 107.1. Yeah, man. High life instrumentals. Special. Area ya wofie. When you aji, na uti your money. Oh, your mama. Constituency Oman FM 107.1. Oman FM 107.1. Where you Hall of Instrumentals special. A piece of band. Where you original. A new imitation. We have you one, you have any chance here. A chance here, so the young yako. Oman FM, original live music providers. Yes. Yeah, man. Also now can you join the quartet? Oman, you appear. Say area. A piece man. Yeah, man. George Hansen on show. So what's it? Tom back home. So sing. Who have you? One of you. Any a chance here? A man 107.1. Shabo Bomenyum Ufilise Sachom Yeni baby etie. Ati Oman 107.1. Radio Mukola wa mantem. Da. Wa fasaso. Hey. Abaya dem bebe. Yes. Oshagbo yalo. Abiza ban, yeah man. Abrono koso. Enkoso. Usu tie. Manenya ode. Akuko sam de do. Fanti ba kada ye pere e wo. Oman FM. Yeah man. We are high life instrumentals. Boko. Obi ba se wo de lelase. That's it. Oman FM. We are high life instrumentals. Huh? Uye bio. Wanye bio. Then you shot here. Yeah. Got that?
I, Clement Abbas Pak,
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
do in the name of the Almighty God swear
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mr. Nominee. Good morning.
Good morning, Honorable Chair.
Remit.
Sharp.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry. Would you take about 2-3 minutes to tell us who you are? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Clement Abbas Pak. I was born on the 11th of June, 1970. I hail from Doninga in the Buza South District in the Upper East region. I am a Christian by faith. I am married with 7 children. I am a Ghanaian citizen. I speak 5 Ghanaian languages, including English, in addition to English. I began my interactions with formal education in Bawa Barracks Primary School in Tamale. As the son of a civil servant, I have a long history of having attended many primary schools. Safe to say, between Bawa Barracks and Sakasaka Primary School, which was the last primary school I attended, I had also attended.
Mr. Nominee, please be mindful of time. I said 2-3 minutes.
I was somewhere.
Yeah, and I think you're on your 5th minute now.
I did my secondary education in Sandma Secondary Technical School, now known as Azantulo Senior High School, 6th form in Nandom Secondary School, University of Ghana, where I was privileged to be in the Great Commonwealth Hall. I did my MPhil at the University of Bergen in Norway and obtained my doctoral degree at Simon Fraser University in Canada. I hold a PhD in archaeology, an MPhil in archaeology, an international certificate in archaeology, a Bachelor of Arts in history and archaeology, and a middle school living certificate. Mr. Chair, I think this will suffice for now. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. And you are welcome once again. I am going to now give the floor to Honorable Minority Leader for his introductory remarks. Leader, you are on the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Nominee, kindly read before you a post made by you in September 2024, and that would be the foundation point for my remarks. Thank you.
Most grateful, Mr. Chair. The post, obviously, is one that I made. It bears my name and my image, and it reads, with your permission: the corrupt, useless, and reckless Akufo-Addo MPP government would rather deploy the military to chase phantom grain smugglers than deploy the military to deal with the Galamsey menace. Then again, what do you expect from a government party that is profiting from the destruction of our forests, the pollution of our water bodies, via illegal mining? Is it not evident that the so-called fight against illegal mining by the Akufo-Addo MPP government is a hoax? A vote for DMB/MPP is a vote to upgrade the Galamsey menace. Let's rescue and reset Ghana for our collective good. The alternative is the only option. Vote JDM/NDC. Grateful, Mr. Chairman.
My respected colleague, the first paragraph of your statement do you stand by this, or you believe that with the benefit of hindsight you could have used a more measured language as a politician? I understand you made this on the 4th of September in the heat of campaign, but would you say that you could have been more measured in the language you use on first paragraph?
Honorable Chair, with hindsight, I must admit that the language was rather harsh. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. This comes without doubt, you being of the academia stock, and you've earned my respect. That said, let's have a look at paragraph 2 of the same statement. What are your views on that as well?
Most grateful, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, whilst it is fair to admit that the content of this post could have been better presented, I must admit that it was influenced by the Professor from Bombwating statement as contained in the report that was in the public domain for discussion. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
But Honorable Nominee, the Frimpong Boateng report is not before us. In your report, in your post, you said, then again, what do you expect from a government that is profiting from the destruction of our forests and pollution of our water bodies via illegal mining? You see, you are not talking about the Frimpong Boateng report, though it's not before us, was talking about excesses of some individuals, like we have today. Today, your government is less than 2 months, but you know that last week, the minister, Onua Kofi-Boa, came to lament as to certain actions of people who are party members and are doing certain things. So I just want us to situate things right. You know, can we loosely also say that because a constituency chair is doing something and same is even affecting the image of government, it is the government? So, respected colleague, please give us an appropriate answer in respect of paragraph 2 so that we can make progress. Most respectfully.
Most grateful, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, given the context provided by the Honorable Member, it is only fair and appropriate that I concede that I was rather too excessive in blaming an entire government for the infractions of a few. I'm grateful.
Now, the last paragraph. The first part of your last paragraph would address it, but the second part of your last paragraph is a political statement. So that one, I will not take you on that, because the first part is a vote for DMB MPP is a vote to upgrade the Galamsey menace. We will deal with that. You did full stop. Then you continue with the second sentence. Let's rescue and reset Ghana for our collective good. The alternative is the only option. Vote JDM and NDC. After that one, it's a political statement. It's normal. You were campaigning. Why not? You are not supposed to sing my praise. But the first sentence of the first paragraph, upgrading the Galamsey menace. Could the language have been different?
Given my responses so far, I would admit so.
Chairman, for the records, I am done with Honorable Clement Apak. I don't have any question again. It is only fair that when a nominee appears before us, constitutionally he is qualified under Article 78, and key matters that are of controversy, he is honest enough to say he's sorry about it or he takes them back. I do not think that for my purpose I have any more to say. I will yield to the expert in his field. Dr. Educhum is here. You know, you are going to deal with education matters. And my colleague Buama and Mustafa and Deputy Leader, they are here to deal with you on other matters. But for me, I am done with you. Save that, I want you to address us on your experience as a parliamentarian thus far in two languages, Dabani and Kasim. So first, share with us your experience as a member of parliament, what you've learned since you entered parliament. Say all of that to us in Dabani to inspire the youth. When you're done, we go to Kasim, and perhaps we may do Hausa.
Grateful. Mabi, Umboya, Yilinga Clement Abasa Park, Kanjabdo Nyama, Mananya MP, Nti Bulsa South. Nekana Parliament ma, Ntume Pam, Nsong, Bulsa South. Nishiama Yajabi Nyama Ninya approva Notum Nti Ganaza Kabiso Intetiza Umboya Namuna Sonte. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Akbak, now in Kasim, let the youths understand that it takes humility to rise to eminence, and it takes industry to rise to eminence, and through merits you get to higher heights. Let them be inspired by this in Kasim. Thank you.
Great, Mr. Chairman. Kasnaba Mama Awaraba Ayabumu Abamelone Ana Yetu Anuno Chanamo ako muyiburu omanu ndonga dibi yende na lobatu komamo sere pas of school se wata sodane se na dikete se jwane bade bakinona bawamba wodi manto commence de comment ana yotu anunko de over school akoko de over school ama we wolene but the wolene pa wona school pa zam ai mp ani apak naji yo zanto sataye one of his school apa ibia sine deruba abande abajim yo atayi MPs akama mali ngrane akinle honorable chairman akinle.
Thank you. So finally, there is free SHS. The youths are benefiting. Some parents may not be appreciating the value of free SHS. Say it in tree. Say something in tree to encourage parents that in spite of everything, they should encourage the girl child to attend school and benefit from the free SHS. Say it in tree for me. Free SHS. Talk about the benefit of free SHS to parents.
Honorable Chairman, Madam Secretary, yenina ajetum say free senior high school a policy papa. Eti ya wasa yetumi abo ahmodin na yema no wamuko school na omonso dachi omuntu emenya mpinfo na omu ho abonfaso ama omobusinfo ene omanga enti awofo ena abofo nyina obia ma nemre na oma ne ba enko school ni bi na
Honorable Nominee, the woman, the girl child. That's
the baba. Oma ne baba enko school. And I can say, the Baba bit me I know. Yen kasa oba bit me I, ya say oba bit me I am na buso. Nti akonya na aba no. Yema e mama no. Wamo so wamo faso. No wamo ko school. Wamo ko free SHS ni bi. Na wamo haso faso amenya. Beda masibere.
And Doc, do you assure the country that the loopholes you find in the implementation of free SHS, you will do all you can to fill in the gap as you promised Ghanaians? I want that one to be also in tree. Then we'll conclude with Hausa.
Yo, minimum. I says, oh, share free SHS Abia. Yen na yo so me getum. Say adepa. Nanso yesanso nim say nyoma ba ko mienu bi atochma. Eti John Amane mama na ban. Ah, ma sha sie na say you know. Asha mo say ye be krekre. Say the be ya. Free senior school no. A bit me aso faso I chain the S1 bedamasi.
So finally in Hausa, assure the teachers, the newly recruited teachers who have received their letter terminating their appointment, that effort to be made to see to it that the concerns expressed about its address. I'm saying concerns expressed. This one is from the chair to you in Hausa. Thank you very much.
Nagode, na gese kuduka. Kene kunzin na, akwai waransu ticoci, nde mungiya su futa kadan sai mu duduba kende an kawo su kamar su zo su gwada yaranmu daga school ba abin da mun ce muna koron ticoci ba warangan na abin da ya faru na sini ya bari mun giya su bari mu duduba sai mu gani kende ya sa sun samu hacin na in hacin na sun samu si bisan hanya da ya kamata kowa ya samu haci si dai ba wahala amma waɗanda hacin na ya shiga hannunsu sai takarar da sun tere si an ba su hacin na ba takara sosai ba suna ya kamata mu duba cikin ne so kar kowa ji tsoro mun gode Allah.
Doc, I think that at this point the youth of Ghana who have lost their employment at the Education Ministry and at GES feel very assured for what you have just said by way of assurance. Thank you very much. I think my colleagues will proceed with yes. Thank you. Chairman, thank you.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Minister, just a second. I'm here to do my opening remarks. Mr. Nominee, Honorable Nominee, you have spoken a few languages here. Some I understand, some I don't, some others understand. But as Honorable Leader said, we are talking to the people out there. So I want you to assure the same people out there that this government will not cancel free education, but it will make it better and enhance it. No, please. In all the languages you have just spoken. Thank you.
Nkobisale mabisa, mapusi ni mena. Mede lani bika, Dr. Clement Abasina, akalinin. Maka bisi tibusna mena lwa mena tinuwom. Anjo mama likwesi namla, admango ngumopola, wa mena abasu suyo. Kwezinka nare, ale free SHS wa. Tekanti kweku, tenti gumuskuma, atkunia, tukumawa mena, manini chiyam. Minu ya nwa amore, micheo biya, meisha mubo, sere mampini jona mama she gani na bono. Se Free High School, policy no, any program no. Won't you mocha. Onua aka, se aba, yɛn nyinaa yɛ som na nneɛma atɔ hyema wɔ ho a yɛn nyinaa yɛnim sɛ kurakura ɛbɛma no aso mfasoɔ akyɛ mfasoɔ a yɛso no ɛbɛkurakura nti ma obi a mbɔ hu free senior school deɛ aba yɛn nyinaa nso yɛso mma bi mpoe John Mama Mone nyate president ne yalia ne free senior high school ma dembene okusanle anina abora mama duko do mama de dani NDC wa tabra mama wo free senior high school na tutu obadawe ochoko ojako oze kona ke yekugama de mama na kutna na teto ojako mama suku weldeba akama mali ona moche which language is left very well. So I've done Buli, I've done Kasam, I've done Chi, Mabe Mpuya, Mbamani Yelia, Nijo Mama, Wonkanama, Dabiamkane, Free Senior High School Ma, Obia Sang, Dirimbene, Mpoya. Mr. Chairman, I want to add Wali as well. Mbamene mamene yansuma tiba John Damane mama onwangane wone wo NDC government ne kata banka pena atewra ka free senior school ma free senior school kanyele ko kon sam free senior school ko na malon ko viala kata nyotona atwa mama galaja mpoye ya jabarka great chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. I'm now going to open the floor, and I will call in the former Education Minister. Mr. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Congratulations to the nominee on your nomination as the Deputy Minister for Education. I know where you are going, and I've sat in that seat before. I know you didn't get the time to also tell the country that you spent part of your youthful days in my famous hometown, Jachi. And so you and I share some relationship in regards to that, even though you were my fiercest critic whilst I was at the Ministry of Education. Honorable Nominee, Honorable Chair, I'll be grateful if the nominee can speak to us about the state of STEM education in Ghana today. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the honorable member is right. Indeed, I did spend some time in Jachi. and I attended Yachi Anglican Primary School. I must put that on record. Mr. Chairman, STEM is the future. STEM is an abbreviation that stands for the study of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Indeed, STEM education in Ghana is in progress. Clearly, the previous government had done some good work in that area. As a member of the Education Committee in both the 7th and 8th parliaments, I have sat through meetings and presentations and participated in the approval of facilities aimed at promoting STEM education. The Chairman, as we speak, I am aware that we currently have 10 STEM schools at various levels of completion. My briefing informs me that one has been completed and indeed is operational. If we are to make progress as a nation and to take advantage of and to prepare the future of this nation, which is our wards, our children, to participate fully in the 4th Industrial Revolution, we must continue to invest in STEM and to expand facilities to ensure that every Ghanaian child benefits from STEM education. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
A follow-up or your next question?
A follow-up, please.
Okay.
Please go ahead. In terms of the briefing, 7 schools are operational and more to come. So that's 10 schools. That's just for the record. But I also would like, Mr. Chairman, of your permission for the Honorable Nominee to share with us how their STEM is capital intensive. How is he going to support his minister in terms of mobilizing resources to make sure that the STEM agenda will continue? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, my minister has already made a number of significant public statements with regards to the educational sector. And in particular, his willingness and readiness to build on what has been bequeathed to us by the previous government. Clearly, STEM is a capital-intensive endeavor, and we cannot rely on only government or public resources if we want to succeed in the manner in which we all anticipate. So if my minister was to seek my opinion, I would suggest that in addition to mobilizing local resources, we reach out to bilateral and multilateral partners, as well as donor organizations to support the effort. I know, for example, that the MasterCard Foundation has played a significant role in supporting the government and the Ministry of Education, and I think we can shop around for similar organizations and institutions to support our effort to promote and perhaps mainstream STEM education. I'm grateful.
Honorable former Minister, before you go on to your second question, would you please let me allow Honorable Roxon to do a follow-up on your question? Thank you. Honorable Roxon, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. Now, Dr. Park, the concept of STEM schools, is it new? I am aware that when we were in secondary schools in the 90s, government introduced what we call the science resource centers, resource facilities, and even added buses. Now, how is that different from, so essentially the STEM as a concept, is it new?
Honorable Chair, the short answer is no. The concept of STEM is not new. But the concept of STEM schools is new.
Now, if the concept of STEM and STEM schools is not new, can you briefly tell us when STEM was introduced into our educational system in this country? Briefly.
Very well, Mr. Chairman. The Chairman, I don't have this information immediately available. But I am certain that the concept of STEM is not new. I'm grateful.
Chairman,
thank you very much. Mr. Minister, please continue with your second question. Thank you.
My second question, Honorable Chair, is to ask the nominee, based on his briefing at the ministry, what subjects have been offered in the STEM fields that has never been offered in this country before.
Grateful, Mr. Chair. Indeed, I have become aware, both as a member of the Education Committee of the 7th and 8th Parliaments, and from the briefing, that a number of subjects have been introduced, and they include biomedical engineering, aeronautics engineering, manufacturing, agricultural science, and I believe, yes, these are the ones I can remember for now. I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Please, you please answer the question. If you haven't done. Oh, you going for a third question? All right, not a follow-up, a third question. And that will be your final question. Please go ahead.
Honorable Chair, thank you for the opportunity. My last question is on the implementation of the free senior high school, specifically on the feeding of the students. We've heard a lot of things during the campaign time, manifesto time. I want to find out from the nominee, based on his briefings, how are the students going to be fed by your government? Thank you.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, one of the topical issues that dominated the 2024 electioneering campaign was the way forward with regards to how best to address some of the challenges affecting the free senior high school program. And one of them was in the area of feeding. The chairman, as I speak, the current arrangement, which is temporary. I say temporary because the John Mahama-led government is yet to present a budget. So the intervention that has been made at the moment is to provide resources to the heads of the institutions to procure food to feed the students. That is the current arrangement. I'm grateful.
Mr. Minister, I believe you exhausted your question, unless you've done your 3 questions. Thank you very much. A follow-up to your 3rd question. You are encouraging him to do a follow-up, or he wants to do a follow-up? All right, okay. Minister, go ahead.
Honorable Nominee, I congratulate you in advance, and I believe that when you sit in the seat at the ministry, it's going to be an interesting one. But I can always now call on the Education Committee and will support you to succeed. Thank you.
I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman, and I'll do just that.
Thank you very much. Minister, I'll now yield the floor to Adia.
Thank you, Chairman. Sanda zuwa. Tambayar da zan yi maka yanzu ga cikin Hausa zan yi. Kuma ina son ka mayar mini cikin Hausa, cikin Dabanbanci da cikin Buli. Uku nan nake so ka mayar mini. Yanzu haka ga akwai tambayar da aka riga aka tambaye ka. Da ya zama na bisan free education na secondary school. Bisan wannan zambi ka sasata muna game da yadda za ka amsa mini. Daya, an tambaye ka aka ce free senior high yana da kyau ko bai da kyau. Yanzu ka tun amsa free senior high yana da kyau, amma akwai abin da ya kamanci a yi ciki. Akwai abin da muka ce an yi, inda aka ce an review. Ina son ka sassata ne, me yasa za a review, me aka ganci aka ce an review free senior high. Mu ya NDC.
Na gode. Na gode ma. Abin da ya sa an ce an review free senior school na ba wai da kyau ba, yana da kyau. Amma ka gani kan da program na ya zo na wurin da yara sun kwana wahala ne. Yau da muna firan ga ba su duka ne yara duka suna ce gaba daya sai su zo gaba daya ba. Waransu sun ce waransu suna gida. Abin da ya sa nan wurin da sun kwana nan ba kowa ya samu fili kwana ba. Na biyu, wurin abincinsu sima yara waransu abin da bai ke su bai yawa ba. Wadda kuma abincin da an ba su na abinci guda kadere, an ba su shinkafa kamar bamba guda suna ci shinkafa kadere. Sima ya kamata mu duba wanda ya makara burin school na kuma sima ina da damuwa yara sun yi su kai school sai muna nema kamar sun kwana school wata uku amma kafin na bai ke wata biyu sai a gyasa su gida so waranga ne ya bari mu giya mama mun duba program na mama sai mu jaja yara sai ba mu amfani fi amfani da muna samu na the other language here.
Chairman, point of order. Point of order.
Very well. Chairman.
After that, you grant me the opportunity.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman.
In the middle of his response, please let him finish.
Free senior high school man. Niyelma. The song the tepa. Ama. Anya din cheneshema. The mala moso biala. Bima. Papazan in China school. In Canada. Shabi Chandler school. Kashabina. The Malamoso. The Parliament. Never Zachan school. Kabazana Canada. Anya Bima Bendrume. The Malamoso. Bima Sheba Bindruma the Bepar Kasheba Bunto Tipasinkafa Bakway Kabidirisinkafa the Menyalamuso Tibalme ne Tinal Kadvia Kabima Chensku Lamnaya Kam Bindrumame Kabito Dinte Katasontia Mpoya.
Mr. Nominee, please keep your answers short.
This is Ghanaian language.
Well,
it has to make sense if I don't put the context.
Yeah, but please keep them short.
Very well. Yeah, I'm grateful.
Chairman, he's not done. He's done.
I just gave another language. Mapusin Komamina.
Mr. Nominee, if you are done, please put your mic off to signal that you are done.
Very well. But there's one more question.
Yeah, sure.
No, she asked me in 3 languages. I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Yes. Honorable members, the rule is if you speak in any other language other than English, which is what we use here in Parliament, you must actually interpret it in English. Now, if you speak any language here, the reports will not capture it. The leader who asks questions in other languages stated categorically clear that he doesn't want those questions and answers to be captured. So if you speak any other language here today, just know that it will not be captured in the report. But you are free to do so.
Chairman, let me refer you to standing order 63 on language of proceedings. That the proceedings of Parliament shall ordinarily be conducted in English, except that a member may exercise the option to address the House in a local language if facilities exist in the House for interpretation by the member or for contemporaneous interpretation.
It's a very clear provision. How, if any member so desires, that member must inform the leadership for you to make available facilities for interpretation. If not, those questions and answers will not find space in the report.
Well, I think what I've said is exactly what you're saying. It's clear. If you speak in any language that is not interpreted into English, or we don't have facilities here to give that interpretation, it will not be captured in the report. And the leader who started with the language thing himself was very clear that whatever goes between him and the nominee in any other language should not be captured, and it will not be. So what I've said applies to everyone. Haja's question and answer will not be captured. But she's here. If she wants to speak, interpret it in English, I will allow it for it to be captured. Otherwise, it will not be. So that's my ruling. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
please continue.
I am ready and willing to say what the question was in English. But let us understand here and put it on record that this is not today that we started the issue of speaking the vernacular on this committee. And that it was yesterday that it was started. So, if for interpretation purposes, it's not a big deal. My question to the nominee was, he had already responded to the fact that free senior high school is good to go with. It's a good policy. Yes, it is a good policy to go with. But he should tell us, he should be able to tell us exactly what it is that the NDC has said that they will review the free senior high school. He should tell us what things are wrong with it or what is in it that would have been reviewed. And I think that, and the issues, that is what is there that is to be reviewed. So he has gone on to respond to me by telling me some of the issues, not all, that we have.
Please,
he has gone on to tell us, and for that matter the whole world, about issues of accommodation, issues of feeding, where he mentioned that sometimes children are fed with the same meal. That is where this your abinchi you are mentioning, food, rice, the shinkafa, the whole week. People supposed to be in school, or students, they are supposed to be in school for, let's say, 1 week. And when they go 2 days, they are back home. So they are not able to stay in school as required. These are the responses that he has given in the two languages that he had interpreted, he had given to me. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much for me giving me the opportunity to tell or to say what exactly, because I want it to be captured. My second question, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable, hold on. I want the nominee to respond in the answer he gave in the language that he gave that answer in English, so that your question and his answer will both be captured. Thank you. Mr. Nominee, please answer the question you have just answered in English.
Grateful, Honorable Chair. The free senior school program policy is a good policy. The challenge that we find with it, for which we have spoken about improving and sustaining it, in other words, reviewing it, is to do with the implementation. And in my response, I listed 3. One was the issue of accommodation, which of course gave birth to the double track system. The second was in the area of feeding, where we have complaints about inadequate food and sometimes students being fed food made of the same staple, sometimes for a week. And then I also spoke about the sometimes erratic calendar, where you expect the students to be in school for a given period of time, and halfway they come home. So I listed these as some of the reasons why we think we need to take another look at the policy implementation so that we can address them to maximize the benefit that we are already deriving from the program. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. You have a follow-up. Please go ahead, Minister.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Chairman, I want to find out from the nominee, because he mentioned that the gaps that they identified, double track is one of them. I want to find out from the nominee how many schools in Ghana goes through this double track as at now.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. Per the briefing I received, we currently have 709 senior high schools and 241 TVET schools. If you put that together, it works out to about 900 schools. Of the 900 schools, about 600 of them are still practicing double track, but it is now called the transitional system. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That's your follow-up. You done? Is your response? I won't allow you, Minister. I will come to you, so please wait patiently for your time. Yes. Honorable Leader, you can do your follow-up.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Nominee, one of the things I want to find out from you is that if you are reviewing, that we have an erratic timetable, but I know that the ministry was always coming out with a timetable. So I'm wondering whether you have an instance where that kind of tables that were issued out were varied without any consultation. Thank you.
Grateful, Honorable Chair. I don't know the justification for the erratic academic calendar. What I know is that students have come home on more than one occasion, and I speak to this as a parent whose ward is currently in the system and another ward who went through the system. They come home at times that we do not expect them to come home as per the announcements that were made for them to report to school. And I believe this will be attested to by many parents. So whatever the causal factors are, we ought to identify them and then fix them. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. Please, going forward, can you please make your answers as brief as possible, please? Aja.
Thank you, Chairman.
You have a last question.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. I would want to find out from you, Mr. Nominee, on the issue of the reintroduction of PTAs, Parent-Teacher Associations, in schools. What is its importance? And how do you intend to support the PTAs so that they can grow and do well as expected of them? I'll be grateful if you can give me the responses in Twi and Hausa, and then you interpret it. Thank you.
Greetings, Mr. Chairman. Yes. Go ahead. PTAs. PTAs, Equa Awufa Omoma Ewo School, Enkabomu. I don't have a friend of PTA. Now, any name say PTA, no. Equa Eboa, Emma Schools, no. To me, I can't quarantine. Na enchebia na PTAs no jumana no mutino na enye nyina ena womutumi edi enti yebeye no PA na abafufro abe wase wasadi e na kan enti abeye PTA na de enti a PTA e won faso no se school no bibi e wo ho na se ha adwin anase touch ma awofo no etumi edi hu enkomo na emwa bi o metumi di aboa ama sa dia na ha adwin no o ma kwekwe no o ma kwekwe yedim se ko schools ni bia PTAs o mutumi esidan se school kwara no eni nkonya wo mutumi ayantoboa na mo di aboa atonkonya ama kwara no ebi kwara so wa wo mutumi toka ediche school no kwara no so bi wo amaso odi eti aba nsa no a awofo no so etumi boa achechefo no ema enkwara na ọmọ aso ọdin a ebi a ọmọ ni yẹ ẹmuwa adesua no yẹtumi akasa akyerɛ ọmọ ama ọmọ asesa ọmọ suban nti PTA megye di sɛ ɛyɛ ade papa te sɛ aba foforɔ no sɛ PTA sɛ na ɛteɛ dada no yɛnsa nyɛ ne saa megye di sɛ ɛyɛ ade pa na agesi ko wɔkoma John Mama government is in the Azongana. Where PTA dan the answer chisi, yazu a PA na, ya kawo PTA na kuma. PTA kuma man sene ada amfani, ina tenye school yara, ina tenye school na kuma. Na kwe school, se school na ba kuzeru, koba lori PTA na sunya sugeni suna se su kudi to se ku basuna ko su se lori su basuna PTA na da amfani sai ni asa jo mama ya ce shi ya zo nan a ci da PTA ina yin na sunya su kuma na ba godiya. To which what I have said is that the reinstatement of the parent-teacher associations to pre-free senior high school status is positive. That has been done because we all know the roles that PTAs play. When schools have challenges, parents can have a dialogue with the teachers, and find ways to try and assist the schools in addressing some of those challenges. PTAs have contributed to build infrastructure to support education service delivery in schools. We know of instances where PTAs have even procured vehicles to facilitate transportation for schools and students. And indeed, in many cases, they've also contributed to procure furniture and to supply to schools. Even in instances where some students misconduct themselves or exhibit deviant behavior, would a collaboration between parents and school authorities, they are able to address some of those challenges. So I believe very strongly that the benefits of PTAs justify the decision by the current government to reinstate them the way they used to be. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. I'm going to yield the floor to you, so I can't let you do a follow-up. So, yes, Honorable, if you want to do a follow-up, then after I'll come to you, Honorable
Nominee. I think we need to come out clear about the PTA issue. If I listen to you carefully, I get the sense that the contributions made by the PTA is what you are referring to. But PTA was never cancelled. I'll give you a typical example of my alma mater, where PTA built a dormitory for the school. It was never discouraged, and it was never cancelled. So I wonder which examples you are giving as a clear evidence of PTA being cancelled. I don't know. Is it the dues, the assistance? I know that as for the assistance, the dues, at a point in time, it was stopped. But the difference, the PTA as support for the schools and everything was never done. Was never cancelled.
Honorable Leader, as you know, this is a House of Records. You did mention your alma mater. Would you please tell us your alma mater, where you are using as a reference?
Sorry, it's the Louis Senior Secondary School.
Thank you so much. Okay, is it in line with? Okay, please, let's. Yeah, please go ahead. Honorable Shaibu. Please keep brief.
Is it the case that PTAs, as we used to know, have been totally defunct, maligned, or completely jettisoned? Or, are you getting me? Is it the case that the PTAs, as we know, have been completely maligned, dysfunctional, and as if they do not exist? Is that the case?
Thank you. Please, honorable members, can we allow the nominee to answer the questions? Thank you.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. PTAs, as we knew then, up and now, were jettisoned.
Out of sports. Thank you.
A follow-up from me.
I yield the floor to the Minister of Sports. Mr. Minister. Please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, first of all, let me also add my voice in congratulating the nominee, who is my neighbor. We share boundaries, my constituency and his constituency, we share boundaries, and we've been very, very good friends. So I want to congratulate him. I want to congratulate him for his nomination. But I'll go straight to my question. Mr. Nominee, your government promised the good people of this country that once you are in power, you give free tuition and admission fees for all first-year public school, tertiary school students, universities. So I want to find out from you, when will this promise start? Thank you.
Great, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Nominee, you haven't yet gone into the ministry. You are not a policy maker. You are going to follow your minister, support your minister. You may. Honorable members, Honorable Nominee, you may answer the question. You may. And please review, because you are not going to be the policy maker at the ministry. So keep your answer expected of a deputy minister designated. Thank you.
Great, Mr. Chairman. I take your guidance. I am not going to give policy. What the minister decides as instructed by the president, I am obligated to support him. I'm grateful.
Chairman, Chairman, I know our colleague, the nominee, was the ranking member for education, and putting up the NDC manifesto before the 2024 election. He was a key member of the committee that came out with the manifesto. I want to find out from the nominee. The government promised free tuition and admission for first-year tertiary institutions. Does this include teacher training colleges and nursing training colleges? Because a constituent of mine in nursing and midwifery college, Kubori, want me to find out from the nominee that whether they are part of this policy. Thank you. Because he was a key member of the manifesto. Thank you.
Honorable Nominee, please answer the question.
Most great, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my minister, the Minister for Education, is on record to have indicated that the policy covers all first years in public tertiary institutions. Implicitly, that would include the nursing training colleges. I'm grateful.
Minister, you have, is it a follow-up or is it a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a question.
So you are your second question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, please go ahead.
I want to find out from the nominee his take on the letter issued by the Chief of Staff vis-à-vis those who were recruited after 7 December 2024, and that of the Director General of the Ghana Education Service in revoking all teachers who are recruited and are not on government payroll. Mr. Chairman, I'm asking this question because there are teachers who might have been recruited in June, and yet their processes of getting into the payroll is still in progress. So I want to find out his take on these two disparities. Thank you.
Answer the question. Honorable Nominee.
Grateful, Honorable Chair. Mr. Chair, I wish to seek your leave to correct a factual error.
Very well.
Mr. Chair, I had earlier stated that some 600 schools were still practicing the double track system. That is inaccurate. It is 413 schools and not 600. I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, to the question from the honorable member, I have no take. I take instructions, I take marching orders from the appointing authority. And I wouldn't have any say in a matter of the nature he is seeking my opinion on. I'm most grateful.
Honorable Nominee, as you have rightly said, let your answers also reflect that you are a deputy minister designate and not the substantive minister, so that your answers will be short, so we can get through this. Thank you. Mr. Minister, I think you have one more question.
No,
he has a question.
Chairman is in charge. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. In answering an earlier question, the nominee indicated on this PTA whether it was cancelled during the previous regime or it was the dues that was cancelled. I want to find out from the nominee. Now that the PTA, their claim is that the PTA has been reintroduced. Is it that the PTA dues which the previous government took out of parents and students, because some students were being asked to go home because of PTA dues, and government thought that it was not appropriate. Is it telling this committee that with the reintroduction of the PTA, the dues that was taken off by government from parents will be reintroduced? Thank you.
Is you done? All right. Thank you very much. I will then come to my right. Oh, yeah, answered. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I never made any comments with regards to PTA dues. I didn't. The honorable member sought to give a background, whereupon he referred to comments that I had made. But in the comments I've made so far, I have not spoken about PTA dues.
Honorable Nominee, please take my guidance. Answer the question. And as soon as you finish answering the question, please put up your mic to signal that you have finished, so we can make progress. Thank you.
The nominee didn't get my question. I can repeat myself or make it more clearer. So that
I will grant that.
Thank you. Chairman, I'm just finding out from the minister, with their policy of the reintroduction of PTA, whether the dues payments will be reintroduced. Thank you. The PTA dues will be reintroduced.
Honorable Nominee, I believe you have understood the question, so please answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I am not the minister. I don't make policy. I am expected to support the minister to implement policy. And within that context, I am unable to give a response to the question posed. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Chairman, thank you so much. And once again, my colleague, my neighbor, congratulations, Clementa Park.
Thank you. I'll now yield the floor to my right, to Honorable Shaibu. Please, you have the floor. And please make your questions straight questions, no preambles, and hopefully the nominee will also answer the questions straight as the questions were.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, unfortunately, by my training, and the Honorable Agaga, who are seated here, the judges will tell you to form a foundation, the basis of which you can ground a very good argument. So I'll go by that.
Honorable Nominee,
I'm guided, Chairman.
Please, just go by my guidance. No introduction. Please go to your question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman. And let's just stay within PTA. This is an important association that has played a very critical role. You and I went to secondary school together at a time when the country was at crossroads. Indeed, there was severe food shortage occasioned by prolonged drought and devastating bushfires that swept across the entire Savannah woodland. At the time, it was secondary school that suffered the most. We didn't have food to eat. Two key players played a beautiful role in getting us to where we are today. Internal and external. The external includes the Bretton Woods folks, but the internal chaps were the parent-teacher associations. They mobilized food, they went to farms, they came together and did everything as we scavenged through and gleaned through nearby farms to get food. Now, these associations, you and I know, are virtually absent and non-existent. I read from the papers, your will-be boss has said there will be reintroduction of it. Tell us what those plans are in getting back PTAs to the former glory.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Again, Honorable Nominee, you are not here this morning being vetted as a substantive minister. You are going to your ministry as a deputy minister designate if this committee approves your nomination. So please be guided.
I'm guided, Honorable Chair. I would expect to follow the lead of my minister when giving approval. I'm grateful.
A follow-up. Okay, please go ahead.
Honorable Nominee, in the scheme of things, you have the parent, the teacher, and then the student. In defining the PTAs, we have often left out the student. Do you think it's about time we include the student in the structure? And perhaps we have often left out in practical terms. And so PTAs, you may want to add an S. Is that something you want to consider? You're talking about students. Would you help or suggest to your minister that in restructuring and bringing back the old glory of PTAs, you would want to include the student representatives, just so you take a cue from what is on the ground, because it's on the basis of the activities of the students that you formed the PTA?
Grateful, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I am not a minister. I wouldn't be making policy decisions. Should the minister decide that this proposition is worthy of consideration and seeks my input, I will proffer my opinion. I'm most grateful.
Dan, or are you going to ask more questions? Okay, please go ahead.
Honorable Nominee, let's do WAEC, the West African Examinations Council. A few months ago, WAEC held the whole country to ransom. Indeed, they nearly disrupted the university calendar. What did they do? They failed and or refused to release the results of senior high students. Now, WAEC has played a critical role over the past decades. But for some reason, do you think that it's about time we introduce competition? WAEC had played a monopoly role over the years. Of course, we will learn that it was a blame game at the end of the day. Either government did not pay, WAEC did not do this, whatever it was. I mean, the monopolistic tendency of WAEC. It's only last week that the High Court ordered that WAEC releases 10,000 results of 10,000 students because there was no justification in withholding those results. Clearly, WAEC is taking the entire country to ransom. Do you think it's about time you will suggest to your minister that we introduce competition to the examination body?
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, again, whilst I'm not in a position to make any policy decisions, should my minister seek my opinion on this matter, I would suggest a national dialogue on our assessment methods to determine the way forward. I believe such a dialogue would perhaps inform us as a nation as to the factors precipitating the conditions that the honorable member has stated, so that we can find a solution. As a member of Parliament on the Education Committee, I have filed motions, at least in the 8th Parliament. I filed a motion with the support of my ranking member at the time, seeking a bipartisan committee to probe matters to do with WAEC and examination malpractices. I think it is a challenge that requires serious national attention. But for now, I can only support my minister based on whatever policy direction he decides is best to address this worrying issue. I'm grateful.
Your last question, please, if you have one.
Chairman, I do. I want us to look at the centralized procurement for secondary schools. The case of procuring either food or items for secondary schools for the past few years has been quite centralized. and that has brought about untold delays in terms of food. They will have to wait many weeks, days before they receive wherever it's coming from. Would you suggest to your minister, if given the opportunity, that in order to work well and operationalize the secondary school system, procurement should be decentralized at the schools level or the district level, just so there will be ease of transaction, delays will be curtailed, and smoothness of academic calendar will move.
Grateful, Honorable Chair. And as far as decentralizing procurement would inure to our collective benefit, I wouldn't have a challenge suggesting to my minister to consider that option for the reasons that the honorable member has enumerated. I'm grateful.
On this note, Chairman, let me wish the nominee the very best in his new role. I know he will do well in the new role. I wish you all the best.
I'm grateful, Honorable Chair.
I will stay on my right, and then I'll come to leadership on my left when I'm done. So I will recognize the Honorable Education Committee, as a subject matter. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, let me use this opportunity to congratulate the nominee on his nomination. The nominee has worked with me for at least 6 years on the Education Committee, and he has been very useful to the committee since he joined us. One strength he has, which I am sure he will carry to the ministry, is consultation. Anytime he wanted to make any statements or do anything as far as education was concerned, he consulted and sought for advice and suggestions. I am sure that strength will help you in the ministry to support the substantive minister. Mr. Chairman, my first question has to do with textbooks. We have been in the fight for the lack of textbooks after the introduction of the new syllabus some few years ago. I know you are not the substantive minister, but should the minister seek your advice on textbooks, will you be in a position to tell him or suggest to him that although we are going digital, there's still the need for textbooks to be supplied, and if that will be carried out so that all schools in the country will have textbooks? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman. Yes, in the affirmative. Textbooks are very important. And it shouldn't be the case that textbooks should entirely be replaced by technology. So yes, I would advise the minister, if he were to seek my opinion, to ensure that we have adequate textbooks so that every child will have access to a textbook. At the same time, also have access to digital technology for teaching and learning. The two are not mutually exclusive. I think it is the right way to go. I'm grateful.
Mr. Chairman, can I continue?
You have another one? Okay. You are actually standing between us and lunch, so please make the
thank you, Chairman.
questions short.
One issue which has been mentioned has to do with WAEC. We have been very passionate about issues concerning WAEC for some time now. And you will realize that we've spoken so much for WAEC, especially before the conduct of the BEC last year and the WASE. WAEC currently has a lot of challenges. And one of them is financing, the delay in the release of funds to WAEC to run its activities. Now, the issue now is the suspended or withheld results and the reasons for which we know. Now, what advice will you give the minister so that these examination malpractices, which have led to the withholding of results, will be minimized so that results can be released in time for students to enter tertiary institutions that the same academic year? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Grateful Honorable Chair. Indeed, WAEC has faced funding challenges. And so, if my opinion were to be sought by the minister, I would encourage him to do well to ensure that government meets its responsibilities to WAEC timeously. Given the many years of advocacy in partnership with the honorable member on this subject, one of the reasons that we believe contributes to examination malpractices is WAEC's inability to recruit and deploy its own staff to invigilate and supervise examinations. So if WAEC has sufficient resources to recruit and deploy its own staff, I believe it could help reduce examination malpractices. I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. I will now yield the floor to the subject matter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity. Honorable Nominee, I wish you congratulations. I have no doubt that you're going to perform. Well, this is my question. Honorable Chair, decline in teacher authority in our schools has led to rise in absenteeism, truancy, and the violence that we always see on our campuses. Honorable Nominee, what do you think is the way forward in ensuring that discipline comes to the campuses of these our second cycle schools? Thank you.
Honorable Nominee, please go ahead and answer the question.
Grateful. Given that I am before you to be considered as a deputy minister to support a minister, I am incapable of proffering a policy solution. But I believe very strongly that one of the ways to address these challenges the honorable member has listed is the reinstatement of PTAs to their full capacity and not PTAs. I also believe very strongly that a dialogue with teacher unions and educators on their experiences, because they are the front line with regards to some of these issues, can also inform a policy direction on how we can address these challenges so that teaching and learning would go on smoothly on our various campuses as far as secondary education is concerned. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I will now shift to my left and start with Honorable Patrick Boama. Then leadership will continue on the left. No, yeah.
Chairman, thank you. Let me congratulate Honorable Clement Abbas Apak, who deliberately omitted from his CV that he led the very powerful outfit in Commonwealth Hall as a Deputy Chief Vandal to Mr. Egbert Fable, Jr. Congratulations, Chief.
I'm grateful, Mr. Chair.
Life in Commonwealth Hall, I believe, still reflects in your actions, and it's embedded in your DNA that truth will always stand. Anyway, Chief, let's deal with this issue of indiscipline and the use of drugs in schools. It's something that you need to assist your minister in fashioning a way with parents to deal with. We all gloss over it, but we see it from the primary school level through to the JHS, secondary schools, universities. It's an issue. They call something weed toffee, tramol, cakes, and what have you, biscuits. It's something that I believe going to assist Honorable Haruna Idrisu and the entire educational sector must look into. So I want you to tell parents and the country what you believe can be done to assist in solving this very dangerous issue that pertains in our tertiary institutions. Thank you.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. And I acknowledge the terrible omission of a position occupied in the Great Commonwealth, of which I continue to be proud of. So, for the vandals, do accept my sincerest apology. I will do the needful within the context of the vandal tradition.
You can't sing here.
Mr. Chairman, the honorable member has raised a very profound issue that has the potential of destroying the investments that we have made as a nation and as parents. Because we are speaking about the future of this nation. And I believe the minister, knowing him from our days in Commonwealth and here in Parliament, is not oblivious to this challenge as well. It is going to take a concerted effort. Parents, educators, and the institutions to address this issue. But we ought to also instill values in our children. It is not just sufficient to nurture them and to support them, but they must have values. And that is why I believe that as a nation, we must make values an important component of our education. I'm grateful.
Chairman, I don't have a follow-up on that, and we'll be watching the space for the interventions you'll be introducing. If there's one thing that we as policymakers or politicians must be ashamed of ourselves, and as a country, is to always read about schools under trees. Just about a week ago, the education minister stated that we still have about 5,000 schools under trees. And, Chief, to read such stories is disheartening, especially after 68 years of independence and the kind of resources that have gone with both NDC, MPP, whatever, PNDC. We don't have any excuse. So if there is one thing that you have to do with Honorable Idrisu within the next 4 years, so at least half the number, Ghanaians will be very happy about that. Do you have an idea of the budget coming to Parliament in 2 weeks and the kind of arrangements being made towards the resolution of this? Thank you.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I have no idea about the budget that is to come to Parliament, but I believe very strongly that I would be briefed in due course. But I must agree with the honorable member with regards to the spectacle of schools and the trees. It does not befit the status and age of our nation. But by and large, it's a product of our inability as a nation to keep pace with the provision of educational infrastructure. So as the population is growing, and of course, we continue producing offsprings, but we are not providing the educational infrastructure to match the growing population. So when communities begin to increase in population and they have children sufficient enough to start a school, they initiate by beginning their own schools. And invariably, most of those schools would be under trees. So it is a national issue, and I believe on this we should be united in finding the resources, even in these challenging times, to address it, because education is a right. I'm grateful.
Thank you. I'm told you just had instituted a fiscal planning unit at the ministry to be tracking some of these things. Let's deal with the issue of capacity building amongst teachers and other educational staff. I think it's an area that you also must look into, because education is evolving and you just cannot keep teachers stuck in their old ways. So how are you going to assist your minister in delivering on this very important area? Chairman, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Honorable Nominee, please answer the question, if there is one.
I'm grateful. The teacher is perhaps the most important variable when it comes to education. All of us gathered here are who we are because of a teacher. And since we are living in a world that is evolving, and there are new ways of doing things, it is only proper that we give teachers the opportunity and support to be able to upgrade themselves and their skill sets to enable them give their best. So I am ready and prepared to support my minister as he executes the mandate given him by His Excellency the President. And I know that includes teacher welfare and professional development. I'm grateful.
Chairman, thank you, but I'm informed there is a National Education Leadership Institute that has been set up that you can rely on for that program, which is being funded by the Big Win Foundation. And I believe with Haruna MP, you have a good minister to work with. And I wish you the very best, Chief.
I'm grateful, and you are right. It's actually in my briefing notes. I believe you build on it for the betterment of Ghana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee. I will now yield the floor to Honorable Jerry. Honorable Jerry, you are the one standing between us and lunch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. V-mate.
Sharp.
So, Honorable Chair, so I have a very genuine observation. My observation is that we are this stretch, we are at this point vetting deputy ministers. The normal excuse or cliche has been that, oh, I'm going to support my minister. We are all aware you are going to support your minister. But we also know that you are men and women who have enormous capacity to go and deal with the issues. So my suggestion is that when people are asked questions, they should answer the questions. And when they are unable to, just because they don't really have an idea, they should also say so. And that is fair to the Ghanaian community. Instead of the normal excuse that I am going to support a minister. Yes, we know. So do we have to go ahead and vet because you are going to support a minister, or we shouldn't go ahead and vet? And that, I think we should all take a cue respectfully. I believe Dr. Clement Apak has the capacity to respond to all the questions he's been asked to respond to. So if not, then when energy comes in, he's going to support his minister. So why are we going to ask him questions bordering on energy? If Agri comes, he's going to support his minister. So please, I know, I just want to have this intervention from Chairman.
Honorable Leader, that is what it says in the Constitution. The deputy minister is to go to the ministry to support his minister. If you ask a question and he wants to add more to it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But that is the job description, is to go and support his minister. So I don't think the nominee will be wrong to say that I'm going to the ministry to support my minister, or whatever the policy direction is what he's going to follow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I do not think that we are at variance. All I'm saying is that all the nominees that come in, they have the capacity to respond to the issues they've been asked. And that is why, in the wisdom of His Excellency the President, he nominated them. So what we are doing here is to test your capacity, or to confirm, basically. Anyway, let me go to my first question. Dr. Clement Apak, I suggest to you that PTA was never cancelled. What was cancelled was the levy.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. As far as I know, the decision communicated was that we were no longer going to have PTAs. We're going to have PAs.
parent associations. Parent associations. The teachers were not to be part. And the parents could decide to mobilize resources, or if you like, play the functions that the PTAs that we knew before used to play. But the teachers were not to be part of it. So on that basis, if we say there were no PTAs and therefore we are introducing PTAs, we are right. We are saying parents and teachers can come together, dialogue, discuss, identify issues, and work at them. And it is on that basis that we have said that we are reintroducing PTAs, which is different from PAs. I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Nominee, examination malpractices are rampant in Ghana. They have largely marred the credibility of certificates or academic qualifications. Some people are called doctors when in fact they are not doctors. Some people have just found themselves at certain places because of examination malpractices. I know you are going to support your minister. I'm sure that will be the response. What are you bringing on board personally as someone with capacity? Or what are you going to suggest to your minister to do with reference to the issue at hand? Thank you very much.
I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I am not the minister. I'll be supporting the minister. But having worked on this issue somewhat, if you were to seek my opinion, one of the suggestions I would make would be for us to properly resource WAEC so that WAEC will be able to recruit and deploy its own invigilators. The other area that I may make a suggestion to the minister about with regards to this issue is for us to dialogue with WAEC to consider the serialization of the questions so that even in the same exam room, students would answer different questions on the same subject matter, which I think would thwart the effort of what we describe as exam room collusion. Because if all the questions are not the same, it will be difficult for those who collude to promote the malpractices to do so. I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Chair, thank you for the opportunity. I think this is a matter of national importance, and therefore, I would like my honorable colleague to know what we have done that they can follow. For example, BEC has gone through serialization. Different examination centers have different questions. That is what led to the situation where more practice at the BEC level has simply disappeared. But we want them to go further to a point when you will serialize within the exam room. And WAEC exams, certain subjects were serialized the last time. So the ministers of West Africa met about serialization across the countries. So we're on track to going to the WAEC International to make sure that within the classroom, different students will have different arrangement. At least your question 1 is my question 20. So that the idea of cheating within the exams room can be eliminated. So there's a way for WAEC to do this, but they also say that they need new equipment to ensure, digitalized equipment to ensure they can serialize. So I felt maybe this will help so that you build on it and take this examination more practices out of the way. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. You want to?
Yes. Thank you so much, Chairman. A really very good initiative. But would you take on board too the yawning gap between city schools?
Honorable Member.
Yes, ma'am.
You are not to ask any questions
No, it was a suggestion.
member around the table.
No, it's a suggestion.
Your questions should be directed
Thank you so much.
to the nominee.
Very
So
well.
you are out of order.
Oh. Very well, Chairman. Which one is an important one? Very important. Yes,
Honorable Jerry, please continue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And that's a very good intervention. I pray we take it up. Yes, because the more practices are becoming way too many. I have, on a few occasions, met with my very hard-working teachers in Wejabawe. They've put across a few issues, one of which is their salary. Another is their teaching environment. And you'll be surprised that when I met them, none of them spoke about issues concerning themselves until I probed further. All the issues they raised were issues about their pupils. And I do not know if we have any award or reward system for maybe the best science teacher, the best maths teacher, and then the best female teacher. And issues of transportation. So I have a teacher who travels from Kwabenya to Wejabawe every day to come and teach. And they sometimes even come in and they are late. And they think that there are issues with reference to traffic and all. Honorable Nominee, I know once again that you are going to support your minister. In this direction, how do you hope to support your minister?
Grateful. Yes, I am obligated to support my minister, and that I will do. But as somebody who is drawn from the academic environment, and as a rural person who represents a rural community, I can appreciate these issues. Matters to do with salary, obviously, have to do with releases on time and payments, and I know that will be dealt with. You are speaking about the quantum. Well, I cannot speak to that. I would make a case if given the opportunity, because I honestly believe that teachers are teachers are the most important in the scheme of affairs. All of us here in gathered are products of teachers. If I had my own pot of resources, I would pay teachers more than any other group of professionals, but I don't. That is my personal opinion. Teaching environment, yes, it needs to be improved. Transportation clearly would enhance the work of the teacher, teaching and learning. I mean, as rural MPs, I can relate to that. I have teachers who live in Sandema and have to come all the way to my village, Doninga, to teach on a daily basis. Sometimes they don't get a means of transport. And when they don't get a means of transport, that means that whole day, the children are going to go without tutoring. And I know that the NDC has a manifesto proposal to support teachers to be able to own their own means of transport. And I hope and pray that we would work with John Omani Mama as a nation to implement this policy. It will benefit all of us. I'm grateful.
You see, you have a lot elaborate knowledge on all the things you're talking about, and so I'm very confident when I ask you a question. Although you are going in to support your minister, Doc, just flowing from this, can we consider teacher housing and then the emphasis on transportation? Because I am aware President Kufuor had such a policy for teachers and it was cancelled on the provision of transport to aid teachers for duty purposes or duty-bound purposes. Can we consider that? May you, or are you likely to consider advising your minister on this route?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I will do just that. I'm grateful.
Doc, the NDC's manifesto laid emphasis on, once voted for, they were going to embark on an emergency infrastructure drive. You remember that? And that what you intend to do is to complete abandoned E-blocks and expand infrastructure in existing SHS and TVET institutions. Please don't forget, my STEM school, which was started by the Honorable Minister here, is almost completed. How do you intend to finish that?
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as the Honorable Member indicated, the NDC presented a manifesto to the people of Ghana on the basis of which they gave your mama and the NDC the mandate. And I believe he will fulfill his promises. The almost complete STEM school in your constituency clearly will not be abandoned. I'm grateful.
Is that an assurance?
It will not be abandoned.
Honorable Nominee, I also want to find out, in your view, so I'm indicating or placing emphasis, in your view, as Honorable Dr. Clement Apak, how would technology be used to enhance service delivery in your ministry, the Ministry of Education, where you are going to assist your minister?
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, technology is already playing a very important and significant role in almost every facet of our lives. And the Ministry of Education is no exception. I will support my minister, who himself is technology savvy, having served previously as a Minister for Communication. In whatever way he believes we can deploy technology to improve our services to the good people of Ghana through the ministry as expected. I'm grateful.
So, Doc, do you perchance have any idea of e-learning, and how do you intend to optimize or upgrade that e-learning?
Can you expatiate?
E-learning. So this is where, unless you want me to define what e-learning is to you.
Yes, I'll be most grateful.
Well, e-learning is using technology to provide education to the pupils or to the students. And that also even includes digitalization and the use of technology. So I am asking, with respect to you, how do you intend to optimize or upgrade e-learning in its current form?
I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman. This is a policy decision. And since I'm only going to support my minister, it will be inappropriate for me to take the wind out of his sails. As I indicated earlier, the minister himself is very technology savvy. In fact, on this subject matter, I don't think that he will need my guidance at all. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt to lead. And if he needs my support, I'll be available. I'm grateful.
Doc, the teachers' allowance, is it teachers' training allowance, has been scrapped? Is that the case?
Mr. Chair, the teacher training allowance has not been scrapped. I'm grateful.
Honorable members, please allow the nominee to answer the question. Thank you.
So, Doc, do you know or do we have your minister's assurance that it will not be scrapped?
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. I have no reason to believe that it will be scrapped because the minister has not said it will be scrapped. I'm grateful.
Doc, football in secondary schools, and in fact sports in general, one of the issues we've had currently with even our main sports is that the way we saw sports when we were growing up is not the same way it is currently patronized. Are you considering any new ways of generating interest in sports at the secondary level, at the basic school level? I mean, just last week, a group in Wager is one of the circuit groups. They had some sports program, but they did not even have any funding to do so. So I had to go in and support. But I want to find out, maybe.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. Sports is a very important activity. Not just because it keeps us fit, but it's also a source of great entertainment. I have been a sports person, sportsman myself. I mean, I played volleyball. One of my playing colleagues is seated right by the chairman. I played football. I played table tennis. My younger brother, who's here, played basketball all the way to the national level. And you are right. It is not the way it used to be. And that should be a cause of worry. My minister is a sports enthusiast himself. He plays football himself. And I think the challenge we face, as you rightly alluded to, is funding and is inadequacy. Given that he's a sports person himself, I believe very strongly that he would find ingenious ways to get private sector involvement to support sports in our schools, even as we look at what we can do to provide some support as a nation for sport and sporting activities to go on in our school system. Sports cannot be neglected. A very, very important activity that ought to be supported. We all do it. We buy the footballs, the JCs, and we provide the funding to support the district directors of education to organize sporting activities. It's a problem that we must look at and address. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. I, Dr. Parker, I wish you very well. I know you are going to the Ministry of Education to fully support your minister. I wish you well in supporting your minister. V-mates.
Sharp. I will support my minister fully. I will support him the Kusi way.
Thank you very much. Honorable Jerry. I will wrap it up. Honorable Nominee. And I want to draw our attention. The nominee and the nominees to come, those who are going to see today, and those who are watching us. And honorable members of this committee. I want to draw your attention to Article 79(1) of the Constitution. And with your indulgence, I read. The President may, in consultation with a Minister of State and with the prior approval of Parliament, appoint one or more deputy ministers to assist the minister in the performance of his functions. Our job here as an appointment committee is to vet the nominee who comes before us. His background, experience, competence, and the skills that makes him a good fit for the role that he is nominated if this House approves of his nomination. So, to stay within time constraint, it is important, and there is time constraint. It is important that our questions address these areas, and the answers from the nominee also respond to these areas. So, to go and support your minister is basically the job that you're doing. Of course, you have your own mind, you have your own views, which you may wish to express. But it is not upon you to be here and make policy decisions. That will be going against your minister, the substantive minister, had already been here. In fact, all substantive ministers. And any policy questions that they should address, they have adequately addressed them. So what we have heard here is what you are going to support. This is not just to you, but to all nominees and potential nominees who are to appear before us. Thank you. And then Sorry. So be nice to me. So I will now proceed to read out the list that I have given for the friends and family who came here to support you. And I'm reading the names I've been given. And I'm going to slow down so that I don't get certain names. Yes. So forgive me if my effort doesn't end up to be adequate. The first name I have here is Mrs. Matilda Latte Park, who is the wife of the nominee. I have the brother of the nominee, Professor Daniel Park. And then I have Nab, Atap, Nguyen, Adela, Akambiana, Akambom, Dominga Chief. I have again Nab, Patrick, Awa, Ajiti, Bachung Sa Chief, Bachung Sa Chief. I have again Nap, Akanta, Grewen, Akanku, the third, who's BC Chief. Then I have here Caesar, Abianap, Akinkan, Constituency Chairman of Bulsa South. Then I have Pastor Matthew Achang Woling. Then I have Honorable Roger Abolimpisa Akanta Grenon, who is a former colleague, a former MP for Bulsa South. And I have Ayarik, who is a Pangachang, who is a constituency vice chairman of Bulsa South. Then I have Pastor George Lati, who is a brother-in-law of the nominee. I want to say thank you to our guests for coming here to support our colleague who is the nominee this morning. On that note, Honorable Nominee, congratulations. You are discharged. You will hear from the committee.
I'm most grateful, Mr. Chairman.
You can add the bye-bye so with Honorable members, we are breaking for lunch now, and we will appear back here at 2 o'clock to continue the vote. Thank you very much, and thanks for your support.